What's up? Is Lost, and I'm Lost. Today I'm going to be redoing my Civilization 5, my review, since the audio is corrupted. Anyway, so let's begin. My opinions on Civilization 5 goes this. While Civilization 6 had one of the worst gameplay aspects I have ever seen, Civilization 5 has the opposite problem that Civilization 6 had. It feels too generic. The problem with gameplay is you can't continually make the same game over and over with just better graphics. Because then the idea is, why will I buy the next game? And if you answer is, I don't know, that's a bad thing. So I've oftentimes found that as a bigger problem, is that I feel like everything's just too generic in this game. Like the art style is exactly what I'd expect from a strategy real world game idea. RTS or not, it looks like, a basic strategy game set in the real world. So again, very generic. Also, the technology tree feels like a very generic idea. The building system feels like it's coming out of every other Civilization game, but just not improved upon. I feel like nothing here is new. And after talking with a couple older Civilization players, I think that's kind of true, is that nothing here is new and either watered down or just as good. That's it. Like, the AI in this game is one of the stupidest AI I've ever seen in any game. Civilization 6 is way worse, though. But it isn't very smart. The later the game gets, the worse the AI's intelligence becomes. And I hate that. Like, beginning game, they can easily take your city if you're not careful. The problem is, later game, you're going to feel like they're not posing any threat regardless of war. As long as you have some military, you can win. Now, the second problem I have with this game is I feel like every time I play it, I'm playing just kind of any Civilization game that has ever existed. Like, how do I explain this? It's really tough for me to care about this game whenever this game doesn't even seem to care about itself. It throws all these ideas at me and goes, "Isn't this really cool? Don't you want to play more?" And I go, I guess. I guess, building cities and expanding is really cool. Like, the beginning part of the game is fun, but there's nothing here to keep me entertained for too long. This game gives me. I can play bursts of this game, but I can't play it constantly. I've had games where I play continuously
Ne?
and with all intensive purpose. But in this game, I can kind of just say, it's okay, I guess. Second of all, I feel like every part of this game feels more balanced towards the AIs, even in easier difficulties. Like trading, in real diplomacy, the idea of a trade is you get something you want and I get something I want, and we both agree it's a fair deal. The AIs think it's I get something I want and you get something you might want. And I think it's a fair deal, but you can say, go screw it. What do I mean? Okay, we both want open borders. Okay, can't we just both have open borders? No, you need to pay me 5 gold pieces a turn. That's not fair. If we both just said, yeah, let's have open borders, that'd be a fair trade. Neither of us is giving up anything. We're just allowing troops to go through our borders. That's the thing I'm talking about. I feel like this game really wants me to support the AI in their terrible business practices.
So teach me.
That's what I feel like. I feel like this game really absolutely despises making fair trades with everyone and anyone. The more I play this game, the more I always think I I've played better strategy games. Like chess is probably the best strategy game because of its simplicity over complexity. This game doesn't like that. It wants to be the next big thing. It really does, and that really just feels kind of stupid. And so, whenever I'm playing this game, it's okay, I guess, but I feel like it could have done more. Like, if you've ever played the base game, my recommendation is don't finish any game. You're going to be woefully under. Darn it, I forgot the word. You're going to feel like it's just not good. You're like, oh, yay. It's going to be so anticlimactic. Like, Civilization 5 suffers the same problem of any video game strategy game, is at times it can feel really long. The thing is that the expansions help shorten that time, but actually make the time longer, but make it more fun. But without the expansions, well, it's just going to continue to feel more and more monotonous, more and more boring, and everything's just going to continue to go to a standstill. And you're going to think, why am I playing this again? I can pretty much think that every time. Why am I playing this again? Now, I will definitely say this game did had better stuff than Civilization 6 in gameplay because easy does feel like an easier game mode. And I don't feel like every AI will turn on me at the drop of a hat. It's ridiculous on that game. But this game, the AIs kind of all say the exact same thing, have absolutely no personality, and I all feel like they're doing the exact same thing because they can. Like, all of them will say the same thing, like, you've pushed your borders to... The only unique thing, though, is whenever you first meet them, they'll have some really cool line that talks about them. And then every other one's like, you're no different than the barbarians, like this. The language, like the voice actress that did the language, great job. But this, I can find like 9 other civilizations that'll say the exact same thing. That is good to hear, not anything unique. Oh, thanks. Hey, thanks. That is good to hear. Thanks for the most generic way you could put that. That's my big problem with this game is I feel like I don't need to do anything, and this game will just kind of tell me what to do. Now, I will say that I really wish that this game was better at what it did. And it isn't. Natural wonders. So, another big problem I have with this game is every time I play it, I feel more and more like I'm not doing anything for half of the game. I'm just moving troops across the board, doing all this stuff. Civilization 6 made certain improvements, but I will always say this. I doubt you could find another Civilization game that is like Civilization 6. It is unique, and I will always applaud a game for trying something new. I will not applaud for a game for trying nothing new. Because the thing is, whenever you try something new, it isn't just... It can be you're doing an older thing, but you're improving upon that. You're trying something new with an older thing. But if you only try nothing new, I can't applaud that. You're doing nothing new. It's all boring and all monotonous. That's kind of disappointing to me, though. Like this, we are fair.
Ergamila aiga adilay. Amma bay kulkandir de kubay zarira. Kula saburiga. Masiteta basi matkaldadi.
You done? You done. Okay. So, like, I love the background. I love the art of this. Like, the burning city. And he's like, oh, you'd do well to do all this for us. And then, let's say I do this. What do you propose? Not anything like that. This is not acceptable at all. If you wish... No, I want... What do you propose? Anything else. Nothing unique about any other dialogue. Every single leader has the exact same dialogue, other than one line. Can't you have made something different? We should consider exchanging embassies, which would allow us for a more advanced diplomacy between our people. Couldn't it be something like, we would like to have a working relationship with you so that we won't have to punish you for the mistakes that our predecessors have made, or something different. Like England could have been, we would like to add you to our trade empire, or something like that. But this is so generic. Why? Why? Could they not add something unique in the dialogue? It'd take maybe a couple minutes to add a dialogue for something.
There's
So that's my biggest problem with this game is I always feel like I could be playing a better game. That's the nest. So what do I want to do? Let's do that. This is the problem I have with this game. I do like the attention to detail with the buildings and all that. Like the buildings over here and the buildings over there are totally different places. But no matter how hard I try, I always think that it's just kind of generic. That I could have done better with art and design for this. And if you're like, you're being too critical, maybe, but the thing about art and design in a video game is it means everything. Art and design means everything. So whenever you're not designing something to look unique or different, I'm going to notice it and I'm going to say, I feel like I'm just playing the same game. I don't know why I'm playing this game. It's just not that fun
Geloof dat ik iets
at
heb wat u...
times. Now, I will definitely say happiness is a really good system. The problem is I feel like it's also a very generic system, but it kind of creates its own difficulty. It prevents city spamming is the biggest concern I had with Civilization 6 is city spamming was the only strategy. This has many, many, many strategies. The problem with Civilization 5 is if Civilization 5 and 6 had certain gameplay aspects swapped, I could really agree with it. Like, let's take tourism, for example. I really love tourism. But what if it was swapped with loyalty? Like, loyalty could have been a really cool system in this game. Prevent me from buying a city from on another shore, making me have to use naval combat, which is my biggest gripe about every Civilization game I've played, is naval combat feels useless. Because I feel like I can just do better. Like, once I take one area on land, I can just kind of store my troops there and get ready for my next battle. Conquer more land and continue that way. I feel like naval combat is just kind of not necessary at times. I've had games where I have an entire ocean and I don't even need to use it. And that's kind of it. Second of all, the inconsistency of everything. AIs are my biggest gripe about this Civilization game over the last one. Every Civilization leader has a thing, like neutral, friendly. Sometimes they have afraid and sometimes they have guarded and denouncing as well. Afraid is one of the most inconsistent ones I have ever seen in any game. They are afraid, then won't they give in to my demands? Nope! So, why are they afraid? Or, I'll have a bigger military, and I'm just about to attack, I'm amassing my troops at their border, and they're guarded. Like, yes, I get that. Why aren't you terrified? My army has taken out many. You don't want to challenge me. That's an unwise decision. And they're like, oh, I'll do it. I'll beat you somehow. And I always think that's kind of not right. You should be afraid of me. At times, others will be afraid of me for no particular reason. I'm being very peaceful, and they're afraid of me. I feel like AIs are constantly changing what they're thinking just because they can. They won't change their loyalties, but they really don't agree with a lot of things I'm saying. Like, I feel like they're just not doing a lot of things. Second of all, AIs are really bad in military combat because they always forget about why nukes have been banned in our world. They're the most nuke crazy AIs I have ever seen. If you don't know why nukes were banned from being made from the UN, it was for the entire idea that we don't want a, a nuclear war. We don't want that. No, neither nations will use nukes because we know how destructive they will be, and we would rather not have our homeland nuked. Well, the AIs don't care. They go, it's fine. No, you're getting your places nuked, and they don't seem to give a and that's not good. I feel like that's completely opposite of how anybody would realistically act. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I really wish it did. So that's one of my bigger problems with this game is I feel like the AIs and everything else around them, nothing makes sense. The World Congress is a good idea, I guess. But the problem is that the AIs all seem to just not like a lot of things for no particular reason and just kind of go, I don't like that, but I like this. I don't like that, but I like this. It's not like it's impossible to please everyone. I'm aware of that. That's a real world thing. But the problem is I can't not make a commitment to there because I have to commit something. And the problem is whenever the entire thing is divided and I don't want any of it, what do? I can try to repeal a ban luxuries or something, or I can put up some bullshit proposal that I'm going to shoot down myself because I don't want it to be up there. That's the big problem.
Wisdom.
So the World Congress kind of does nothing. I really like spies for balance of the game. Prevents like a technology civ from becoming way too powerful because nobody can catch up with its technology. I love that. I love opportunities to try to balance gameplay. Now, I would love it if there was a better way to counteract it, but not really is the answer. Buildings and all that. AIs are still dumb in this aspect, and I feel like it's just not really necessary at times. It just kind of disappoints me. No matter what I do, I always feel like that. Like, nothing matters with what I'm doing. So I'll just do nothing. So it's just kind of a disappointment to me at times. Yeah. I do like the queue idea that they added in this. I wish it was more customizable of where I could do technologies in queue so I don't constantly have to do this. Like, I could put queue, show the queue right here and put a bunch of stuff down here. That's the idea. Yay. This game is constantly feeling like you could add a bit more and this game could have been better. I will certainly say the more I find off about this game, the more I just kind of dislike it. Like, I feel like in the base game, resources are so scarce at times that it feels so ridiculous to fight with anything in iron or any horses. Horses are not the bigger problem. Aluminum is one of the biggest problems to get resources. Yet the game offers nothing to satisfy this. Yet, it's just kind of nothing to me. Second of all, I really feel like without the expansions, everything is horribly imbalanced. Like the Ottomans are so ridiculously powerful, it's not funny. The Ottomans and still Egypt feels like one of the most powerful civilizations for anybody because wonders are wonderful in a lot of aspects. Then we have stuff like I don't know, the Damn it, I can't remember their name. The Iroquois, I think it was. No, the Shoshone. The Shoshone, which is just I get extra land expansions. Okay, how is that helpful? Like in the beginning of the game, yeah, but I feel like that's not as helpful as other ones. Like the Aztecs of getting culture whenever you kill an enemy is like, yay, woo. I'm so excited. Or Russia of getting double of uranium, iron, and horses. Like, that's really powerful. That's like ridiculously powerful. Getting double uranium? I could build twice the nukes or twice the giant death robots. But getting double iron, I could build twice the soldiers. And getting increased production in those is just an extra bonus on top. And you're like, this is too powerful. The Ottomans were not the biggest problem, but they could build a quick navy was the problem. They could build a really quick navy, and that was the bigger problem. The Russia, though, Catherine the Great, she's really powerful for a lot of various reasons. And I really wish that wasn't the case. And that's kind of how I feel about most of this game. It's like, I feel like if you did a bit more thought into things, these civilizations would be a bit more balanced. It just feels that way. Now, I will definitely say the modding community for this game is really good. They've put up some unique mods, like you will play as a civilization like Darth Vader. I think there are certain ones where you can add extra technology and all that. Modding is really fun in this game because this game needs it. To stay alive, this game needs it. I feel like it really does. Now, I will say, the problem with this game lies in one very individual aspect. It's how you have to buy an expansion to get the best experience. That is not good on any level. And I feel like that's going to be true for the majority of this game. Is if you don't buy it with expansions, don't buy it at all. I bought it without expansions, and I will say, this with the expansions, much better. And that's the biggest problem. This game should have not had those expansions. Because they created the biggest problem of all. I will say that out of which game I'd prefer, I would prefer 5 for gameplay reasons, and I'd prefer 6 for aesthetic and uniquity. Playing 6 is like playing an entirely different strategy game at times, and I love that. If only the game was a bit better paced and better balanced, I would love it. Absolutely adore it. The game isn't, though. Like, this game, I can't say I'd ever adore it. Because the problem is in its generacy, how generic everything is. And it's hard to fix that. Like, the art style is generic, the lines are generic, everything is so civilization. It's just like, why am I playing this game again? This is the biggest problem. This is the biggest problem of this game. No, I will definitely say they did improve on certain aspects with the expansions, but they needed to have those in the base game, not the expansions. Dividing a player base is always so fun. Because religion is something this game needed. Drastically. It always feels like this game could have done better. And I hate that. It's like the Destiny effect. I always feel like Destiny, quote unquote, could have done better. I always feel like that. Like, towards its new players, it could have done better. Towards its older players, it could have done better. Towards the champions, it could have done better. This game is always, I will define it as the most mediocre game of strategy I could ever play. I honestly could mean that. The most mediocre game. The gameplay is fun. The art style is, okay, I guess. But the gameplay gets repetitive quick. You will play as 1,000 different civilization leaders. Love that, but I feel like this game just doesn't have enough uniquity that I feel like I'm just playing and looking at the same graphics and same things. The civilization leaders don't make a big enough splash for half of them to make me play differently. And if you're unsure what I mean by that, this is what I mean. Like, right now I'm playing a very isolated thing as the Aztecs. Not building warriors, not doing anything. Because the Aztecs buff, it's legitimately something that I don't feel like I need to build at. And so I'm constantly finding this problem of I don't need to do anything, so why am I doing anything at all? Yeah. So this is the big problem with it. Everything just is constantly feeling like I don't need to be doing any of this, so why am I doing any of it? Like, this game, I'm not playing with like a super and expansionist idea. I'm just kind of playing as an isolated civilization. And I'm the Aztecs. The Aztecs are all about the big military and making sure you constantly have the upper hand. But what am I doing? I'm playing as if nothing matters. Playing as if this is just all the Aztecs are. I'm not building military. I'm building a bunch of wonders. This is the problem with this game. I don't feel like I need to do anything different. The leaders are all nice, but the problem is if you don't make their abilities good enough to warrant me to play differently, I'm not. That's the problem. It's not warranting me to play anything differently. So I'm kind of just stuck here. It's just how everything's going to work. This game suffers from its everything. That I feel like everything's just so boring. Honestly, if you're going to play this game, I love AI play. I love playing against AIs. But I'd say don't. Just don't. Because the AIs are the most unreasonable and stupid AIs I've ever seen. I honestly couldn't get them to make a deal with me if I tried. And I really wish I couldn't say that about this game. They're so unreasonable, so ridiculous, so stupid, I feel like I just don't want to play this game at times. I wish I could say something different. So, this is the big problem I find with this game. I don't need to play it, so why would I play it? The next thing I'm going to talk about is city-states. City-states have their own unique set of problems. They either feel useless or useful, nothing in between. And they feel very generic as everything else. Why do I say useless or useful? Well, kind of they offer some unique buffs. Yeah, I guess like the port one offers you gold or stuff. Like I don't know what they offer you directly. I know this person offers you gold because they're trade route ideas. This one offers you culture. Which one is this guy offering me? He's offering me resources, I guess. I don't know. But each one offers you something different until they offer. But it's each style. That's culture right there. This is the trade route civilization. That's the naval not civilization, city state. And so this is all that there is. Yeah, that's all that there is. Honestly, that's all. They all have the very ununique idea. Without the World Congress, they feel even more useless because with the World Congress, the representatives eventually become useful, helping you to build faster and better policies that you can do unanimously and that nobody can deny. It's really helpful in those situations. Yay, but I feel like I'm just doing nothing at this point. And this is kind of where everything will always fall with me in Civilization 5, is you could do more with this. City-states are a great idea. The problem is that they all feel like they do something so generic, and they're all put into a category. I feel like I don't need to do anything. I wish that maybe the city-states had like a city-state league, and if you if you were like attacking a city-state, and you weren't like popular among enough other city-states, they would all band against you and declare war on you and all start trying to attack you. This would be a really cool idea. An idea that you are trying to randomly attack city-states would get you in trouble with like a idea. This is how Greece was before the Greek Empire, which would technically be the Macedonian Empire, but I digress. Is that although they were all different city-states, had their own bickering and quarreling, but whenever the Persians came to try to take it, they all bound together to fight them back, because as much as they don't like each other, they like each other better than foreign invaders. So this made a bigger difference, and the Persians had to run. They won! Congratulations! And that's how that worked. But I always am going to feel like that's just not good enough for me. So this is the big problem with me in Civilization. I feel like everything, if they added a tad more depth, this could have been a really good game that I would say, yes, you should buy the expansions. The expansions are totally worth it. Problem is they're not. They should be free. I honestly can't tell you a reason why you should buy this over maybe an older Civilization. It's over Civilization 6 for gameplay purposes only, but why not buy an older Civilization? It's more unique. Like, this isn't... Give me a second. I believe if you do that, this is an older Civilization style. It's so much better. Because I like looking at the style it originally gives me so that you guys can get an idea. But this is so much more unique. So much more different. You don't see a strategy hexagon board game like this every day. Because why? Well, normally because the borders don't look like this because, we want everything to look modern and cool. Look what all we can do. But this is so much more unique. I don't see this every day. And I love that. I wish there was more of that. You also can, here, I'll switch back. You can turn off Show Fog of War, turn off the features, turn off the hex grid. I don't know why you would in this one. Turn on yield icons, trade routes. Hide recommendations and all that. And then switch back to this, and then trade routes. It does nothing right now. I have no idea why. But that's the idea. It's all so different whenever you look at it from that point of view. I really wish I could love this game. I can't, though. This game has good ideas, but it doesn't do anything with them. It's not the idea of... It has a really cool ideas, but but the pacing of everything messes with the entire gameplay, like Civilization 6, where I really wish I could get behind that if they just had a bit more time and used a bit more wisdom in that. This game, I could not say that. I say that they just need to add more, which is not something I normally say. Because normally in every game I play, I always say, being more complex isn't better, necessarily. But this needs to be more complex. Because everything feels like it's just at the basic of what it could do. Oh, we have Venice, the most okay civilization I can mention. But this is everything. There's too many wonders in the expansion, in my opinion, that make it so that it's kind of just a rush to build your favorite wonder idea. So this is Civilization 5. These are my opinions, and I will say this. If you like this video, could you please check out my other videos. That's all I'll say. And remember, don't get lost, because I'm lost. See you next time.